Hey everybody, it's Aaron with Defensive Concepts and Solutions. Today I want to talk about kind of an interesting subject that, as far as I've seen, doesn't get a lot of information put out about it for police officers, firefighters, security personnel, paramedics, whatever the case may be, but that is getting spit on. Good times, great oldies there. No one wants to get spit on, but yet police officers, security personnel, pretty much that works in any type of public service job is always subject to getting spit on. In most states, getting spit on is a form of assault. And it's very humiliating. It's disgusting. It's potentially dangerous as far as pathogens are concerned. So what I'm going to show in this video are just some real basic concepts, concepts to mitigate hopefully ultimately avoid, but if the person does spit on you, mitigate your exposure to the saliva and the potential pathogens. So being that this is all conceptual, something I want to address right now, these techniques, if you do in fact do them, be prepared to articulate your activity because they have the potential to look aggressive and they also have the potential to be aggressive. The goal in using these techniques, again, is to avoid pathogen exposure. And that's an element that you are going to have to be prepared to articulate and put in your narrative when you do these techniques. Okay. So the problem with being spit on is, amongst many things, but from a tactical standpoint, is I can't just sit there and wait for the guy to spit on me because then obviously it's too late. You know, if they really want to spit on you, the reality is they're probably going to do it, man. And you're just going to have to deal with it and, you know, try to get this person in custody and then go get yourself checked out medically to make sure you're not exposed to anything. Now, going off topic a little bit, I am told, and I've read hundreds of times, that the likelihood of getting exposed to anything like HIV, hepatitis, all the different hepatitis stuff, is pretty difficult to do with saliva. The key word there is difficult, not impossible. Okay. What we want to do is we want to avoid getting any type of saliva in the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. These are the mucous membranes where bloodborne pathogens, you know, travel. So that's what we're trying to mitigate here. Okay. If you are in fact exposed to any type of saliva or blood, I mean, you don't know what this person's got, you know. Get yourself checked out, okay, immediately, right after. Say, hey, I've got a possible exposure or an absolute exposure, not a possible exposure, an absolute exposure. Get checked out, whatever you need to do, okay? So that's a little bit separate from the tactical aspect of this video, but it's still very important to get checked out. Okay, so here it is. You're in contact with this person, and people that spit on you are generally just pissed off. They hate you. They don't want to cooperate with you, whatever the case may be. So what we want to do is we want to mitigate the bloodborne or the pathogen aspect, and we have to do something. First and foremost, you have to keep good contact and cover positioning in mind. If you can do that right from the initiative, right from the beginning of the contact, that's going to be your best bet pretty much all the time. And what does that mean exactly? That means having this person away from you, maybe you and your contact officer in that L or V pattern, and you're kind of out of each other's crossfire and you're out of this person's line of fire if they do in fact decide to spit the nastiness on you. Okay. Have them sit down, face away. You know, if they're compliant with you enough to do that, that's always going to be a plus in your favor. You know, hard on them, easy on you. But let's say you're standing up and you're in contact with this person. And in other videos, I've talked about having some type of pre-volt position. I always do something like this so I can get my hands up there. You might have a pen and paper where you can stuff the pad of paper in their face or whatever the case may be. But bottom line is, all we're talking about here is blocking that trail of saliva. And here it is. You're talking to the person. All of a sudden, you get some kind of indicator. Now, this is the problem. You have to be able to articulate what that indicator was. Reality is, if they conceal their indicator, meaning they're not going to sit there and pull up this big nasty sinus, you know, loogie, for lack of a better term. Sorry. That's an indicator. If that's not there and they're disguising it to keep the element of surprise on their side, chances are they're probably going to get you. That's just the reality. But if you're paying attention, okay, and it looks like they're about to draw one back, a big nasty gram, first thing we want to think about is just offsetting, a quick side shuffle, getting out of that line of sight, okay? And verbalizing what you're doing. Stop spitting, okay? Or, whoa, don't spit. Now notice here I put my hand up. That's the second part of this thing. We want to minimize or mitigate the exposure to pathogens. If saliva does in fact come out of this guy's mouth, I need something up there, okay? I'm not necessarily advocating, just sending this guy to the moon with a palm heel strike. What I'm advocating is getting some type of barrier up. And that's simple as just lightly touching their mouth, okay? Or not even touching them at all, but getting the hand about an inch or two away just to prevent them from spitting. Now, if they spit and you get all the discharge on the palm of your hand, that sucks. But it's better than what? Getting it in the face. So we're in contact. There's the indicator, whatever. Oh crap, stop spitting, okay? Goes on the hand. Now, because we've done this, are we going to escalate this situation? Well, yeah, obviously, because if we do some kind of move like this is going to make them pissed off and escalate, and you've already moved and you verbalized, hey, stop spitting. Now from here, we might just go right into an arm bar. We might just, shuck this guy off to another area up against a wall or whatever for further handcuffing or restraining or whatever the case may be. But if they really had the intention to spit on you and you did this technique, hey, stop spitting, you need to keep going and follow this up with something, okay? I'm not going to spend a lot of time here on arm bar takedowns and stuff, but the initial part of this thing to mitigate the exposure of pathogens, which you want to put in your report. I did this to lower or mitigate my risk of pathogen exposure. I had reason to believe they were going to spit because they drew back the mucus. I sidestepped. I verbally told them to not spit. Upon doing this, I put my hand up over their mouth to cover the potential pathogen. This, of course, escalated their level of aggression against me. I took them down with a straight arm bar takedown, pushed them into a wall for easier handcuffing, whatever. You want to articulate it something to that effect. But in essence, that's it. Now, some other options to think about. Maybe you're here. Maybe you just want to shield your own face, okay? Same thing. You're going to offset. Hey, stop spitting, okay? From here, if this does spit and you need to go into something, we can wipe the face, hook an arm, and extend them back, okay? Wipe that face, okay? Let's say they are drawing a really big, nasty one back from the sinus cavity, and it's blatant, and here it comes. Maybe we do need to hammer this guy. Stop spitting, okay? We've checked their face. We might want to follow up with a palm heel hit to their solar plexus or the ribs to knock them back. Maybe we're going to hook an arm, follow up with some common peroneal strikes, and then take them down, okay? Because you got to remember, in most states, being spit upon is a level of assault, okay? Check your local laws. Obviously, we're here in Colorado, and I'm almost 99% positive that's a level of assault. And also, this goes back to the pathogen exposure. This is why you're doing all this stuff, okay? So, some concepts. Hey, stop spitting, okay? Hey, stop spitting. Get back. Boom. Take them down. Straight arm bar takedown, okay? Or stop spitting. I'm shielding my own face. Maybe I'm going to wipe their face this way, hook an arm, take them down this direction, okay? Another option. Have something, okay? Maybe you've got a notepad or something. Whoa, stop spitting, okay? Wipe their face this direction, hook the arm, do the takedown, but get something up there. Remember, I'm not necessarily saying every one of these needs to be a very powerful, explosive palm heel strike. Maybe it does, but not necessarily every time. A lot of times, if you can just put your hand up there and say, hey, stop spitting, dude, okay? And then go into something like a bar hammer or whatever you need to do to move them, get them restrained, handcuff them, whatever. Have a game plan, okay? Get something up there. Remember, your key basics to avoid the pathogen exposure of being spit on, offsetting, okay? putting something up there, following up with something, and verbal commands. Those verbal commands are paramount. They need to go in your narrative, and that's also going to tell any potential witnesses in the area, he yelled out, "Stop spitting." Okay. So likelihood this guy was trying to spit on the officer. So that's pretty much it. Remember, we're doing this to avoid pathogen exposure. Okay. Make sure you get that in the report. Make sure you can articulate your action and use your verbal commands and practice a little bit. What would you do? Play some what would you do scenarios. All right. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Don't get spit on. Not a good time. Train hard, fight easy.